Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here for Popternative, speaking to Jordan L. Jones about Bel-Air premiering on Peacock February 13th. We're so excited for this series, and we're excited to chat with him. Welcome to the show, man. So good to see you.
Good to see you too, man. How you doing?
I'm doing so great. I mean, you know, has it hit, I feel like you had the premiere. It started to hit you that it's coming out, but it's crazy, right? That you go and you shoot this and it's finally coming out.
Man, this is this is crazy.
Yep.
Okay. This is crazy. I think that after yesterday, being in the moment, all the lights flashing, you know, meeting your idols, not just, people want to, no, your idols, seriously. Then watching the premiere, then after talking with your idols, and then trying to go to sleep last night, and then waking up, I would say that nothing's changed, and I still feel like I'm dreaming.
And I guess maybe a couple of days before the premiere, maybe it doesn't start to hit you, but after yesterday, it's 100%. This is coming.
It's like loading. Like it's right now, I'm probably at 38%. It's hit me.
Yep. It's so
and
great.
I'll probably be at 100 after Sunday.
When and I guess, if I ask your castmates this, it would be kind of similar answers. But I mean, you land this role. It's an adaptation of one of the greatest sitcoms of all time. You have an opportunity to kind of come in and put your own spin on these kind of iconic characters. I'm sure there's excitement and I'm sure there's nerves, but I'm sure the excitement is trumping the nerves a little bit, right?
Yes. The nerves are kind of gone now because because I saw him and he was like, "You're great," so I don't have any more nerves.
Yeah.
But the excitement, I think, to kind of tie them together, the excitement of taking on this iconic character and putting your own twist, your own spin on it, and most importantly, the character that I'm playing and Will Smith and all these characters. They want us to be us.
Yeah.
Because the show is different. This is an hour-long drama. It's not a sitcom. I'm not just in there for comedic relief and just as Will's friend. I have a storyline. I genuinely have a storyline. And I think that is the most exciting part that subconsciously, because I've watched every episode of Fresh Prince 100 times individually.
Yep.
And I promise to God, I fell asleep on my couch and I fell asleep watching Fresh Prince. And it doesn't get cliche. It was it just was on. It wasn't on purpose. It just was on.
It is.
That's crazy.
And what's pretty crazy too is if you ask me right now when I'm on the street and you ask me, name me a sitcom character, right away, name me any sitcom character, I'm going to say Uncle Phil. I'm not kidding you. I'm going to say Uncle Phil. Talk about, it being such an amazing show, but the power and the icon status of what, they built and what Will Smith did and everything is just unbelievable, right? That's the first one that comes to mind, man.
I mean, I think that's crazy. I think it's crazy because the show is so relatable,
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that it's my favorite show and by the time it was done, of course it was a syndication.
Yeah.
By the time it was finished, I was probably 5, 6. So by the time I started getting into it and then it becoming my favorite show, the show had been not long gone, but not present.
Yeah.
And so the fact that it's so relatable, it's so funny, and these characters were chosen and so iconic now, hindsight's 2020. It's just amazing to be able to take on these characters and even just have that responsibility of bringing what they brought.
But it's also crazy too, because definitely people see the trail. Like there's these kind of layers of announcements for shows. I feel like it's different for yourself and your cast because you're going in and you know a lot more information, or sometimes you're going in and you're filming it, but you get the announcement that Bel-Air is coming to Peacock, and then the poster, and then the teaser. So there's all these kind of layers of hype and teases, right? And then you see the trailer, and then you're like, you know what? This is like a serious kind of look, and maybe it's gonna have some funny moments, but it's a different take on the classic sitcom. It's gonna kind of give us more layers about the characters and everything. But then you think about it, and you think about what Fresh Prince of Bel-Air did in its prime, and it did what a lot of sitcoms do, where it did have those kind of moments that hit hard. You know what I mean? Of course it was laugh, but that's interesting to think about too when you do self-reflection about Bel-Air and about, you know, the original show as well, right, Jordan?
Yeah, 100%. I think that I think that's the, you know, when it comes to what I was saying, like about relatable. I'm so glad that we get a chance to hit those points too in this, because it's a drama. And you know, a lot of people say like, oh, it's dark, you know, and I not that I don't like using that word, but I just don't feel like it's dark. I just feel like it's real. And just like you said, in those points, you know, it's all sitcom-y, and then they have those real moments. Well, this is just a whole real show. So kind of on the contrary, it's like, even, you know, I'm comedic in it in certain points, I'm dramatic, but even in the comedic parts of the show, they're comedic in that serious way. As the opposite is like, okay, in this comedy, we got to throw some seriousness in. Well, in this drama, comedy comes with drama. Like it's just like you living life. And you know, even in that part where you know, I'm being funny, and I'm like, we pull up to the house, and I'm like, man, I didn't know your family was white. Like even though that's a funny line, I was serious. Like, look at this big house. You know, that's a kid from Compton. Like, I haven't seen this before. Yes, the line is funny, but there's a lot of realism in it. So I think that it's kind of like the opposite, and that, like, you know, we're just exploring real life situations, especially in the Black community. And I feel like we need that right now too on TV.
100%. Talking about your character a little bit, I mean, you played Jazz. I had the honor and privilege years ago to see DJ Jazzy Jeff DJ at an event. It was like one of the coolest things. Yeah, I know.
He was DJing yesterday.
Yeah, so
insane.
That's so cool.
Dude, what?
So what? Okay, so I need to know then. Did you have like a chance to speak to him at times about some things about the show? Like, was there any any ability to chat with him a little bit?
I think the best part about the show was that the people, just Jazz, Will, all of them. I think, and as an artist, this meant a lot, that they weren't trying to be hands-on. They weren't trying to be, because they wanted us to bring what we brought to the character. They didn't want to see, and we don't either. We don't want to see the same things happen. We saw it already. And we can still see it. I watched it last night. Like, we can still, like, you know, so I think the best part about Will and Jazz, and I mean, Tatiana, I mean, I can name everybody, that they were like, no. I want you guys to do what you guys do. Of course, you guys watch Fresh Prince subconsciously. You know, Jazz got the swagger, so, you know, I got the swagger. You know, he got the shades. Of course, I got the, you know, of course, it's Will's best friend. But that right there, that surface level stuff is great, and keep that. At the same time, we hired you for a reason. We want you to bring you and your concept of this dramatic jazz to TV. And so I think I like that the most.
Okay. Add to that the dramatic jazz without any spoilers, because it's premiering February 13th on Peacock, and we want people to go in fresh, want them to have a good time. It's going to be an amazing thing. What can you tell us about the character arc and the storyline that Jazz, who is Will's best friend, is going to have in this show?
Well, I would say that, you know, especially from the difference between the first one, you know, Jazz came in and there was no background. We didn't need a background for Jazz. We all knew Will Smith and DJ Jazzy Jeff, and this is sitcom. So when he showed up, you get the applause, and no one asked any questions, because everybody loves Jazz, and it doesn't matter, and they're friends, it doesn't matter. And then all their comedy, you know, on the show is about their situation, like their friendship, them going on different journeys, and then them getting stuck in, you know, trouble here and there. And I think that for this one, yes, I have all of that, and yes, I'm Will's best friend and all that, but I'm more of like a confidant. I'm more of like a piece of home. for Will. So when he can't speak, or like, you get advice from everybody. He's getting advice from Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv and even Hillary and Jeffrey and Lisa and Carl, everybody. I feel like I'm the character when all that doesn't work, because they don't really understand where he comes from. This is a rich, Black, wealthy family in Bel-Air that are like, hey, you need to, even Carlton's characters, like, you need to fit in. And he was like, no, we don't do this in West Philly. I'm from Compton, so I understand him. And so when no one understands me, he gets to that mode, I'm like the confidant. I'm like the Jiminy Cricket. I'm like I'm like the wisdom. But like, in similar ages, like, man, they don't understand me. And I'm telling him certain things about how this goes over here and how you don't have to lose yourself within being around a different group of people. So I think that is the dramatic and different take on this one than the first one.
It's so funny when you started the interview, you're talking about like going back and watching the original sitcom and everything. You can watch it all the time. It's just like, I remember like, because you know how it is when they play like I remember like Nick and Night and stuff. They play like the trailer, like they play like teasers, like, watch Fresh Prince tonight, right? They would always have a clip where it was like Will going like, I hate you, Jazz. He's like, I know you didn't mean. Yeah, and he's like, I know you didn't mean that. They would always play that clip.
Yeah.
Or every time that we're talking about this, and like you mentioned, Aunt Viv, Uncle Phil, I always think now, like, Will.
Oh man, man. Honestly, man, you just being happy about this is, I'm talking about this every day.
Well, here's the thing, like,
all these people,
you're coming on Popternative, you're playing Jazz in Bel-Air, which is going to be on Peacock February 13th. If we're not excited for it, like, what are we doing here, though? Let's be honest.
Real, man. You're
like,
right. You have a good point.
Like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? Quick question before we, you talked about it. It's a new spin. It's drama. It's a dark component to it. Might have a little bit of comedy. When they get to watch Bel-Air, what are you hoping they get out of it, takeaway wise, on Peacock February 13th?
Man, you know what I hope seriously from viewers.
Yep.
I hope that after the first couple episodes, this already kind of happened in the trailer.
Yeah.
But after the first couple episodes, people can just relax.
Yep.
That's what I'm hoping. And by relax, I mean there's so much buildup, and from Morgan dropping this and just being on deadline, and people are like, oh, we don't want that, and we already have Fresh Prince, and it's what are they gonna do? And who's gonna get cast? And then people get cast, and they're like, we don't know them people. Yeah, maybe we know a couple of them, and then just certain things come out in the tabloids, and they're like, man, like, I don't really know about this. Like, if Carlton doesn't do the Carlton dance, I ain't watching. If Jazz ain't getting thrown out, I don't care.
It's not gonna. It's its own thing though. It's a new thing.
That's what I'm really leading to.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I even have friends, and I'm just not telling them anything because I can't. But when the trailer came out, dude, my phone broke. Everybody was like, yo, my bad, dog. I didn't know it was gonna be like this. This shit look good. So what I'm hoping for is when this comes out, and take this with a grain of salt, because I don't want to separate, but all the comparisons is all people want to think about. And this show is so different.
Yes.
This show is so different.
But you see it with the teaser though. But you see it also with the teaser with him in the pool.
Right.
Right?
But yes. But some people are still gonna be like, oh, but are they gonna? No, I want them to watch, and I want them to watch it. Yeah.
Sorry, I keep going back.
And the thing is, there are some of those moments, but this is its own show. Like, that's Fresh Prince.
This is Bel-Air.
Bel-Air, and I can't wait for people to actually sink into that and be like, I'm watching Bel-Air. Yeah. Like, and I say this all the time. It's like, man, if you've seen the Fresh Prince, of course you've seen the Fresh Prince. If you haven't, I don't know what childhood or life you live.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're missing a lot. If you have, it's a great, oh, I see that nod, and man, these guys are good. If for some reason you haven't, you wouldn't have to have seen it to watch Bel-Air.
Yep. No, for sure. Jordan, thank you so much for coming on Popternative. This was a blast chatting with you, man.
This was great, man.
So Peacock, February 3rd.
I usually have a lot of energy, and you're the guy with the energy.
Oh, I appreciate that. Well, we got to be excited, okay? Well, sorry.
I love it, man. I love it.
Okay. Sorry. Are you going to go back and like YouTube now? Uncle Phil Fresh Prince
All
moments
the
of
times where he was like, "Whoa,
yeah. So
Will."
yeah, exactly. Just a montage. Where can people follow you on social media quickly to keep up to date with everything?
Oh, please look on Twitter. Follow me, Jordan L Jones
Yeah.
_ on
Mhm.
Instagram. Follow me, Jordan.L.Jones.
Amazing. This has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popturn for previous episodes. Jordan L. Jones is going to be Jazz in Bel-Air, streaming on Peacock February 13th. Until next time, it's Jordan L. Jones and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.